This is the Huntington Tri-State Time Machine, brought to you by Realty Exchange, the top-performing real estate company in the Huntington, West Virginia Tri-State Area. Each week, your host, W.G. Bunch, and his guests share memories and stories about the past, the present, and the future of the Huntington Tri-State Area. That's Huntington, West Virginia, Ashland, Kentucky, and the Chesapeake and Proctorville, Ohio areas. If you used to live here or you currently live here, you're going to catch yourself saying out loud, "Wow, I remember that." Now, here's WG.
Hey, everybody. What's going on? Here we are. There you are. And this is the Huntington Tri-State Time Machine. I'm your host, WG Bunch. Thanks for being here. Yes, it's me. Just get used to it. They can't find anybody else to host this thing except me. So just love me. That's all I'm asking. I have got a couple fantastic guests today. Going long distance to New York City. I've got the dynamic duo sister team of Kim and my Spurlock. They are filmmakers. We're going to learn all about them. Directors, producers, writers. They do it all. And we'll catch up with them in just a second. Thanks to our sponsor today, Realty Exchange. Realty Exchange for all of your real estate needs in the Huntington Tri-State Area. Residential, commercial, they do it all. Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia, and Florida. So, you need anything, get in touch with Realty Exchange, realty-ex.com. That is the website. Thank you, Realty Exchange. Now let's get into what this is big time for this little show. I went to school with these ladies, and
not me, because you're too old.
How dare you? Okay. I went to school with Kim. We were in a little red schoolhouse that was we went from first grade through 12th grade. We were all in the same room because
actually, WG, what you don't know is I didn't move to Huntington until 8th grade. Yeah. We were in Charleston. We were in Charleston before that. I moved in 8th grade, and I will say that you're not going to remember this, but you were definitely one of the friendliest. I remember this very clearly because I was so nervous, but you were one of the friendliest people.
Go on.
For a new person. Absolutely.
Keep going. And
well, the South Side is no joke for the uninitiated to move into in adolescence. That's all I'm going to say. Oh, it was tricky.
You know, I look back and I really do have to say I was pretty awesome. I was pretty daggone awesome. No, I'm kidding. All right. So, all right. You guys are in New York City now, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And all right, let's hit the rewind button. And you've already pointed out that you didn't grow up necessarily here in Huntington, but it was your West Virginia gals, correct?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. We're absolutely, since we were really, really little, and Huntington is definitely the formative years, where everything kind of started.
Now, where was it before Huntington? Where was it?
Charleston.
Okay. And that was until you were how old?
12. 10, and we moved when I was 10, and Kim was 13. Just turned 13. Yeah.
Okay.
So we moved in that summer and started Kamak that fall.
And when you moved here, it's dad's job, mom's job. You guys got kicked out of the county for something, or what? I mean, what brought you to Cabell County?
Her dad joined a new law firm, but Kim was also starting her criminal ways, so we had to relocate. No, Kim was a competitive ice skater, so we stayed in Charleston a bit longer. And once she decided not to compete anymore, we moved to Huntington.
Is that true? Really? I didn't know that. You were a competitive ice skater?
Yeah, but I was I was in competitions. Let's put it that way. I was very uncompetitive.
Yeah, you.
I had no pizzazz. I feel like, can you at least look up and make eye contact with people? Pretend like you're having fun, and I'm like, I'm having fun.
I did not know. I didn't know that. So, was your dream Olympics or was your dream ice capades?
I don't know. I think my dream was Tiger Mom makes you go on the ice and makes you skate.
What?
Well, and you loved Peggy Fleming and
I'm kidding. That's
girl,
harsh.
Dorothy Hamill.
I loved and admired them, but I didn't feel like I had any real aspirations for the Olympics. I just wanted to land my jumps and. Oh wow! I just don't have a good answer. Sorry.
So no, that's who's a better skater, Peggy Fleming or Dorothy Hamill?
Dorothy Hamill, definitely.
And who's got better hair?
Peggy Fleming.
oh! I thought for sure you were going to go with the Dorothy Hamill cut.
No, because I blame her for my kindergarten through third grade pictures.
Oh, all right.
Here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So when does the now you guys work together like as a team, I guess, right? I mean, it seems like every project has both of your names on it. Is that accurate?
Yeah, Kim keeps me prisoner.
Now, all right. What gets you started in? Well, I guess question number one is, what gets you started in film? And the second question is, was it always the plan to work together, or it just worked out that way?
I think, the way we tell it is there was one day, I think it was in the summer back in Huntington in like 1983 or 84. I can't remember, mid-80s. And Maya and I had run into Keith Albee to watch a movie. And it was the first Coen Brothers film we'd ever seen. It was called Blood Simple. And I think for me, it was the first time I was aware that there was an actual director directing the shots. And I was starting to feel these tingles, and the credits came up and it was the Coen Brothers. And we looked at each other and I was like, we'll just be the Spurlock Sisters.
Okay.
I was like, okay.
And
we
so
already?
here we are. And she's like, what?
Yes, ma'am. What
Sounds good.
And now that we're here in 2022, what's your favorite Coen Brothers movie so far?
Ooh. Do you want to go first, Maya? I can go.
I would say 2. I think Raising Arizona, because of the crazy. They used to have Barry Sonnenfeld, who became a director as their DP, and just the crazy shots and color and vibrancy. It just blew me away. But just a movie I could watch over and over would be Fargo.
Okay, so Raising Arizona and Fargo. And Kim?
I would still say Blood Simple and then No Country for Old Men. But I love all the ones that Maya said too.
Oh, did you know Raising Arizona, the furniture, I think he was a furniture salesman, the guy that had all
Arizona?
the kids. Yes.
Unpainted Arizona, yeah.
That's based on a real person in Houston, Texas, Mattress Mac. And
Really?
yes, yeah, that character is based after Mattress Mac. Wow. And I also saw somewhere online that My loves trivia. You were the captain of the trivia team in high school?
Yes, that's the only team I've ever been captain of. We were extremely lame because we would just go to the library and hang out, and then go to competitions against real school like Paul Blazer, and basically had inside jokes where we would answer Henry Wadsworth Longfellow to any poetry question. And yeah, we were kind of a jokey team, but it was fun. We entertained ourselves. But my captaincy was brief and unsuccessful, shall we say.
And this
but funny.
This was
but fun.
That was an actual thing, and it was sanctioned by the school.
Yes, Quiz Bowl, and we were even on WSAZ TV.
Quiz
getting
Bowl.
Our bottoms kicked.
I remember
Yes.
Quiz Bowl.
Me too. Didn't someone used to go around saying Quiz Bowl? Quiz Bowl. It might have been
Probably,
WTF.
yeah. Well, there was this. This kid, Anubaki Hall, would do it and put on an accent.
Oh.
But I think it's okay because it would be us putting on a Vietnamese accent.
Totally forgot about Quiz Bowl. That is great. Oh wow. It was like Saturday right after it was like Saturday afternoons or Sunday afternoons, something like that.
Yeah, it was super fun.
So that was you. I remember growing up going, if I could just be like that Quiz Bowl girl. What is it going to take? No, that's all. I tried out regularly, and they were like, "Get the hell out of here." All right, now, now we're into film. You decide, yes, this is something that interests us. We want to do it. Was New York? Y'all didn't go right to New York from high school, correct?
Oh no, we were gypsies.
No, we were gypsy peripatetic world wanderers for years.
Now, were you going to school with film as the goal, or were you just kind of saying, well, let me see what else is out there, or what's going on at that point?
I think for undergrad, we were still just kind of figuring ourselves out. I think film was sort of put aside for a while we were doing what we thought we should do, which is get undergraduate degrees and liberal arts education and get some world experience. And what about you, Mai? What did you?
I don't know. I worked so hard to get a scholarship and get to college that I just was like, I'm in college now. I guess my work here is done. So I switched majors a whole bunch of times and ultimately studied business and fine art. And then I studied history in grad school. And then I went through a period of thinking, well, maybe I'll be a lawyer and worked at a law firm, or maybe I'll be an art sale. So tried a bunch of different hats. And then Kim, ultimately, my husband and I were in Philadelphia while he was in film school. And I was working as a paralegal, and Kim started film school at NYU. So I would take the Chinatown bus up and go crew for her and line produce her films, meaning walk the streets in my tights looking for free food for her film shoots and doing, making sure that when the director, directore, as I call Kim, calls roll, everything is there for as little money as possible. So that's really how we got started.
So
finally being in this near enough to where I could go work for free for her.
And she basically piggybacked. She was crewing because our first year at NYU, we just basically worked as crew members for each other on a bunch of different short films. And mine was coming up from Philly and crewing in different positions and piggybacking like a film education.
And
for free.
Yeah, so, at a great school.
What year are you both in New York to stay? How long have y'all been there?
6 or 7. Well, Kim's been here since.
I've been here 20 years.
I've been here 7 years. Okay. I was in LA for 10 years before that.
And what? The obvious question: what do you miss most? Well, maybe not most, but what are some of the things you miss about the Huntington Tri-State area? Whether it be food or places or whatever. Give me a couple that you go, oh gosh, I'll never forget blank. All right, well, that's a great answer. Now,
for me, I think it's the ease of everything, where you'll pull up at a stop sign, and if you want to check your glove compartment for something and then go, that's okay. And my daughters, this is my speaking, are always so amazed at how chatty I am, right? And I'll just start talking to anybody, and then we go home, and literally everyone's like that, and they're looking around and like, Mom, this explains a lot.
Oh wow! All right. Cool. What any foods that? I don't know if you
sure. Chili Willi's, the original Chili Willi's, though.
Yes.
Okay.
Was kind of like a formative experience for me. I still taste enchiladas. I know exactly what they taste like in my head. The enchiladas and the pollo flautas from like the 80s.
Well, yeah,
they were
so
good.
Cool bartender there who was also a middle school teacher, and we were all fascinated by her because we thought she looked like Pat Benatar, and she had the short, spiky hair and the 3 earrings.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even remember what she taught, but we were all enamored of her. So that for sure. Yeah. And Dwight's across from the high school, 2 eggs, 2 bacon, 2 pancakes, $2.50.
Do you remember? You don't remember her name? Who is that?
I want to say she taught French or something, but I didn't take French. I would just see her in the hallways and thought she was dead cool, like Mary Stuart Masterson and some kind of wonderful type, And I was like, wow. And she's a bartender. Yes. That is the coolest woman I've ever seen.
Everybody out there, if wherever you're listening, you can email if you are in your car right now going, I know who that is.
Or I am that person, and I'm a rock star.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Maybe she's around and she'll hear it and be like, "Oh."
Could be. info@htstimemachine.com. That's the email address, or remarks on whatever platform you're listening to. So, all right, I'll tell you what. Let's play a little game with you two. This is not pre-prepared. The Spurlock girls have no idea what's coming. All right, first one we'll do is this is called overrated, underrated. All right. I'm gonna throw something out there, and you guys tell me your personal thoughts. Is it overrated or underrated? For instance, number 1, Camden Park.
Underrated.
Ooh, underrated. I agree.
Okay. It's still the largest amusement park in the state of West Virginia. Thank you very much.
Oh wow, there it is.
How about one-man shows? Like one, it doesn't have to be a man, but like these, the Broadway shows or where it's just one person the whole time.
Oh, I don't know. I think it depends on the person. If they can fill up that space and be,
what's the best one?
Thoughtful and entertaining the whole way. I tend to be like, the only thing I can think of are like stand-up comics, right? Chris Rock.
Okay. All right.
What's his name? The #Me2 guy who was so great. Louis
C.K.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Too bad he got hashtag because he was really good.
I think he might be coming back. I'm not sure. I read something about that.
All right. How about movie theater popcorn?
Oh, it depends. I did a blog post for my friend who's who's called the Amateur Gourmet on different movie theater popcorns in New York, and had some discoveries. Some places use coconut oil, some places use chemicals, and there's 2 different kinds of popcorn. There's the mushrooms and the butterflies, and the mushrooms are the ones that you want.
Wow.
So, depends.
All right. Also, the name of the undergarments that I'm wearing.
Mushroom depends.
I don't know where that came from. I don't know where the hell that came from. I don't know. How about be careful? Be gentle on how you answer this. Star Wars.
Oh,
I think don't you think it's rated it's awesome and everyone knows it?
Yeah, I would say the new edition where they take out some of the grottiness is overrated, and the one where Han shoots first is underrated.
I think
he needed to shoot first.
I completely agree. I can't believe I'm going to say this. They're probably going to take my fan club card away, but yeah, I'm getting a little. Let's take a break and not, let's enjoy what has already been released. We don't need to shove more stuff down our throats.
And I think it's just a big part of his character that he assessed the situation and he shot first. It's like that sort of dark side to him. And when you sanitize that out, he's a lot less interesting.
Totally.
All right. Let me ask you this. For each one of you, how many times have you seen We Are Marshall?
Twice.
Once.
Okay. And what did you think? I mean, when you watched it, did you say, I know where that is and I know where that is? Or
absolutely. I got so distracted by all the landmarks.
I did. I was like, there's a reason why Red Dawson is called Red Dawson. He has red hair, folks. Yeah. Red tinge is Come
on.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah, I think that's probably the I don't know of another movie that was shot here. Wait, there was one.
Rain Man.
Down in number 5.
Super 8. Wasn't Super 8 shot around there somewhere? Oh no, that was shot somewhere else in West Virginia.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, changing the subject. Going back.
Yes, Down in number 5. Best movie ever.
Tell us about
Sisters.com.
Yeah. Tell us about Down in number 5. How did that come about?
Oh, family history.
Family history. I mean, a lot of our stuff that we write is really grounded in these kind of, stories from our childhood in Lincoln County, or stories from our Vietnamese grandparents. Kind of go back and forth. And this wasn't a true story. My dad, he ran wild in the hills of Lincoln County in the 1940s with his twin brother, with his pack of boys. And there were John and Jim, which my dad and his brother, the twins, the good twins, but then there were the evil twins. And the good twins would protect this little boy named Sammy from the evil twins. And Sammy had Down syndrome. And then when Mom and I were born, in our childhood, we'd go up to Lincoln County to the church that my grandparents had built in their backyard, which was the community church. And Sammy would come in and sit next to us, now being in his 30s, like my dad. And we were fascinated.
No, he was actually quite a bit older. My dad,
he was
twins, he was a good 10 or 15 years older, but he, at that time they didn't have all the intervention and therapy and things for people born with Down syndrome. So he never kind of reached his potential. So they would, even though they were much younger, they would protect him.
Mm-hmm.
And I should have done a better job on the lead in. So for those of you listening, Down in Number 5 is a short film that Kim and I made years ago. You can find it. I looked for it like yesterday, day before yesterday, and Vimeo seems to be the place that.
Or our website, spurlocksisters.com. You can watch it there too.
Oh, spurlocksisters.com.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. All right. So I'm sorry. So yeah, continue. So everybody now knows. Yes, this is. And it's a fantastic film, but I hate to.
And WG's in it.
There's an underrated actor in there who plays this brilliant, kind of deadpan but kind attorney. They're trying to save the day in a hopeless situation, and I think he should have been nominated. Something.
Yes.
What was his name again?
I think his name was Leonidas Arnold, but he was played by.
I can't remember. I can't remember how that came about. That. Kim, you must have been in town for was it some sort of reunion or something? And you went, "Hey, I'm shooting a movie here." Maybe you were just here shooting the movie, and you said, "And I
was just there thinking." I think I had thought of you when I was writing it. Actually, I was like, "I wonder if WG."
Really? Are you serious?
At the time, I was like, we should go local as much as we can.
That is. That's the first time I've heard that. I thought it was you couldn't get anybody else, and you're like,
no.
Oh my god!
No, we discussed it. It was a deliberate casting choice.
Wow.
It was.
Well, I mean, when I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I revisited it, and I went, damn, I used to be all right, good looking. I mean, I was okay, and wow, man, I was tan, and I think I had
your little suit.
Yeah. I had 2 lines, I think, and who was the guy that played the dad or the grandfather or whatever?
He's awesome, Michael Meredith. He's the mayor of Mount Hope. He was at the time the mayor of Mount Hope. He's wonderful. He does a lot of theater, and he was just so wonderful to work with and so game.
And I remember going in, and since it was only 2 lines, I was just like, all right, I'm just going to say these 2 lines. And I remember him kind of taking me aside, going, "Do you understand this character at all?" And I'm like, "I think I'm only just supposed to say this 1 line." He said, "No, you need to understand what is going on and the situation." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Well, he did.
Yeah, he really, because I think I was just like, the coal dust gotcha or something, and he was like, no, that's not how he would say it. And it was like, yeah, cut, and yeah, in a very nice way, but he was like, yeah, this is not just, you're not a parrot. You need to understand what's happening.
Good for him.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So, and it's also interesting because I Google myself 5 or 6 times every day, and it shows up WG.
So do I, WG. I always like to keep track of it.
I know. I just want to make sure I'm still here, and and it says WG Bunch actor. I'm like, yeah,
that's cool.
I'm like, look at that. There I am. Hey, down at number 5, baby. Yeah, right. Check it out. Go to, spurlocksisters.com, down at number 5, and I'll start doing some meet and greets. You can get the autographs and all that kind of stuff. So all right. So
if we ever come back, you'll have to come back. You'll have to reprise yourself or do something similar.
Oh God. Can't you just CGI me? I mean, can't I just be, I'll give you a photo of me back in the day, and then just go with the computer animation stuff. All right, now the other thing that I saw, I wasn't aware of is. All right, tell me about Living the Dream. I watched the series. I watched the whole thing, and it was awesome for me because each episode's like 10 minutes long, and that's perfect for me. So
it's good for a short attention span, right?
Yes. How did that come about?
Well, we've been writing after I graduated NYU. We had these short films that had done really well, and a feature script that was heating up and getting some attention and this and that. But things take a long time to make. And after 4 or 5 years of sort of being hot, but not, we were getting frustrated and not making anything, because after a while, it's like we felt constipated.
Okay. All right. That's why I go with my Depends, come on.
So then mine was like, I watched this thing called a web series the other day. This was back in like 2013, maybe even, around early 2013. She's like, there's this thing called The Guild, and I love it because I'm a fangirl, and each episode's like 5 minutes, and they're shooting in each other's apartments. Why don't we do something like that? That's super manageable. We can do it on the cheap, and it's a good chance to practice directing, and I was like, let's do it. So we wrote 8 episodes, and it was about 50 pages, and we got a bunch of friends together, spent some money, shot it in different apartments and like coffee shops in the neighborhood. And it was also a good practice, I think, for seeing what it would like to shoot a feature, because we were trying to see if we could shoot, like 50 pages in a week, like super low budget and fast. So we did that. I've never done that kind of a scope before. But so mine was like, well, why don't we do it about female film school students coming out of film school? Because all the girls seem to have so much more trouble than the boys getting their projects made. Mm-hmm. And she's like, okay, I'll write the first few episodes. And then she turned around and wrote it about me and my friends.
I did so much fun of her. Some of
those lines. Oh,
Kim was such a good sport, because I would write lines like, am I just an aging hipster wasting my life on an empty dream? And then send it to her and be like, so sorry.
I'm like, okay, that's how it is. But,
Well, I've seen you guys after your various successes so happy for each other, but also eating your hearts out. So we had to kind of show that aspect of it.
Well, everybody has to check it out. And this is also, we can see this at spurlocksisters.com as well.
Yeah, that's fine. There's also liveinthedream.tv, right, Mike?
Yeah, you can see the trailers, but you got to pay to play if you want to watch it. Or just
they're behind two. Yeah, they're on 2 paywalls, behind 2 different paywalls at liveinthedream.tv.
Okay. And
it's like cheap. Or you can just email us personally if you know us, and we'll hook you up.
And we'll send you up with the link. Yeah.
We're not breaking any laws, are we?
No.
All right.
No. They're non-exclusive.
I don't want the Motion Picture Association to attack us, but it's great. You guys, check out Living the Dream. Now, is there something you're working on now? Is there something coming, or almost finished, or just starting, or what's happening now?
Yeah, we're in the 5 millionth draft of a horror movie, and we decided instead of working on something with an Appalachian or Christian themed ghost, we're going to our mother's heritage of a Buddhist ghost tradition. It's a horror movie.
Ooh.
It's a family story. Yes, it's called Good Sisters, and it's about a woman who's a shaman in the Vietnamese Dao Mao religion, which is sort of channeling spirits and helping people move on. And she has a daughter who's sort of reluctantly part of her business. And they, as it always does, a ceremony goes awry, and they open up a door to a hungry ghost. And ghosts in the Buddhist tradition tend to have unfinished business, as opposed to sort of being evil from the outset. So they have until midnight to close the door. But it's also a family story. By resolving the family issues, they can then resolve the ghosty issues. So it's meant to be super creepy. It's set in Queens and in the Catskill Mountains of northern New York, which will look a lot like West Virginia.
It does.
I'm super excited about it.
This will be another short film, like a
oh no, full on horror.
This will be our first feature.
Really? Wow.
We're writing it to a low budget, so it's a 3-hander in one location, basically three actors, one location, so can keep it sort of tight and contained.
Worked for the Blair Witch Project. I mean, it's all
exactly.
and lo-fi effects like hands reaching out from under the bed and grabbing ankles kind of thing. So just sort of like
very analog.
And do you think it'll be this year or next year, or I don't know how long it takes to make a movie like that? What's your goal?
Our goal is to shoot at the end of next summer, so in a year.
Okay, cool.
And then 6 months past that.
Awesome. All right, good. Really? Yeah, definitely keep us posted. That'll be very cool. All right. All right, let me do one more. This isn't really a game. It's just like a way to cram in a bunch of information quickly. We call this In All Honesty, and it's your answers. Let me look at your guilty pleasure movie.
Coyote Ugly.
What was it?
Coyote Ugly. I love that movie.
Coyote Ugly. All right. And that can't be for both of you.
What? I guess there's a few. One of them is Basic Instincts. I can't help it.
Oh, yeah.
And then I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure because Silence of the Lambs, is that a guilty pleasure?
No.
Oh, darn. It has to be cheesy, right?
Yeah.
Just stuff that I love to watch sometimes. Probably Basic Instinct.
Okay.
Showgirls.
Yeah, that was.
Are you serious? Showgirls is one of them. I've never seen it.
Showgirls is fun. Oh man, you got to watch it.
So campy. It is really fun.
I think I told that to a couple friends of mine. They're like, "You've never seen Showgirls?" I was like, "No." Have you? You sound like you've seen it quite a few times. All right. Most famous person you ever met before you went to New York City, like when you were growing up in West Virginia, who would have been the most famous person you ever met?
Oh my God.
And it can't be me.
You, WG. Okay. Before.
I don't know. I think was it Siobhan from Ryan's Hope in New York City in like the 80s? Remember that redheaded actress?
Oh.
Yeah.
What's her name? Then she went on to be on one of those crime shows, like in the Las Vegas crime show.
Oh, yeah, with the red hair. And
Ryan's
or that
Hope.
Kenny Rogers winked at you that one time.
Oh, yeah, Kenny Rogers in Charleston.
Yeah. He was performing at the Charleston Civic Arena where we used to ice skate, and she and my mom snuck backstage to watch him. You could go through the rig somehow. And
when we were able to see him skating. Absolutely.
And he saw you and gave a smile and a wink, right?
Really? Kenny?
Yeah.
Kenny!
Yeah, he was so friendly.
Wow. All right, then you go to New York City or just after West Virginia. Most famous person you've met today?
Oh, geez.
Probably Johnny Depp.
Ooh.
I mean, he's really famous right now because of his trial.
Yeah. Jack Sparrow. Oh my gosh.
I guess I had Jennifer Beals and Tia Carrera in my daughter's play group in LA.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And Khal Drogo, I used to be his neighbor. He would show up in the post office with his pink Cadillac and open the doors for the ladies when they came in. Jason Momoa.
I heard they got divorced.
Oh my.
Yeah, Lila Coy. I was walking up near my house on the Mesa, which is on this hilltop, and they have this really cute estate up there. And I had my baby, and she had her baby, and we showed each other's babies. And she's like, "I'm Lila Coy." I was like, "No, you're not. You're Lisa Bonet. I know who you are." But I didn't say that. I was like, "Nice to meet you, Lila Coy." I'm not, because she goes by Lila Coy now. So we're tight because that's our one conversation.
When Jennifer Beals has to give her baby a bath, does she just pull a chain? And water comes out of the ceiling.
That's what she did in Mommy and Me play class. And when it was sing along time, she pulled out her sweatpants and leggings and danced around in the room for it.
Yes.
Because she's a maniac.
Exactly.
She's a maniac.
Nicely played. Nicely played.
You do a lot of encounters like that in LA to where you think you're rubbing elbows, but you're not. Just being in the same room with somebody doesn't make you special. You just happen to live in the same.
They're just around. It's true.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. And yeah, Tia Carrera. I mean,
She's so super nice and super down to earth, and she would like invite the whole preschool class over for her birthday parties and stuff. Couldn't be nicer. Which was great because she was a big hero of mine.
If it wasn't for her, that Wayne's World movie would have been terrible.
Yes, it would have. I
think she was in the second one.
So she's as nice on the inside as she is the outside. I'm happy to report it.
Yeah, cool. That's great. All right. That's a nice little game. I like that. All right. And I think
the most interesting person I talked to, because I actually had a chance to, because he was a professor of ours and then became our friend, and then we would have dinner with him from time to time, was Hampton Fancher, who wrote Blade Runner. He's a kook.
Really?
Yeah.
He's so fun though, and so interesting, and has had a wild life.
He was the writer of the original Blade Runner from '82 or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how he was a professor of yours?
He was a writing teacher in the grad film program at NYU, and he had started out as an actor, and he was a flamenco dancer, and he had been married to the actress from the original Lolita with in the 60s, or I guess.
Gina Lollobrigida?
Nope. Who played Inspector Clouseau again?
Peter Sellers?
Peter Sellers, when he played Humbert Humbert.
Wow. Look at you all. Hanging out with the big names.
Sue Lyon was her name. Oh, James Mason was Humbert Humbert, actually. Peter Sellers was Claire Quilty.
We're super fancy now, WG. You wouldn't recognize us.
I know. I mean, just the names are dropping out of the sky like Jennifer Beals just pulled the chain, and they're all just coming out of the ceiling.
She ran away from me the last time I saw her, though, because she's super shy, and I gave her my big smile, like, "Look at my new baby," and she was like, and nipped out and ran the other direction. So,
I don't want to look at your baby.
Back off, weirdo. Jennifer, I thought we were done. We had other mommy me classes.
And I would guess probably the worst thing you could do to somebody like that is go up and try to make any kind of reference to Flashdance. She's probably heard every one 1,000 times. She's like, okay, I get it. Yeah, okay, thank you. Bye bye.
She's like, I went to Yale. Okay.
Whatever. Yeah. Do you know Kevin Bacon? No, what? Will you please get out of my? I've got pepper spray in my purse.
The person I was most excited to see that I just didn't talk to, but was so pleased to see, was William Riker, #1. I was grocery shopping in LA, and my cart went past him in the meat department, and I looked at him like I saw Santa, and my whole face lit up like, William Riker, #1. And he gave me the biggest smile back, and I'm still happy every time I see him.
Who was it? Who?
From Star Trek Next Generation, Jonathan Frakes, who plays William Riker. That was
that's and what's his name again?
Jonathan Frakes.
Okay, yeah, all right. It looked like the dashing. He was not the captain. He was like the number 2
guy.
#1.
He was the first officer.
Oh, okay. And he directed a lot of those episodes and stuff.
Yeah, and he's directed a lot of Picard too. So that was a random. It's just kind of neat having those random encounters. And normally I play it cool. Like, I don't know who you are. I don't recognize you. But with that one, I mean,
it's hard, right? It's just you get all like certain people trigger your fandom.
I mean, he's Picard adjacent.
I'm so embarrassed. I've always called him Jonathan Fracas. It's Frakes. I did not know that. I did not know that. That's very interesting. I don't know who that dude is. That's cool. All right.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right. So what we need to do to keep up with you guys is SpurlockSisters.com. How often do you guys make it back to the area? Ever?
Once or twice a year.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Cool.
I haven't been back in the longer, but I'm coming back soon.
We'll
have to do lunch.
Absolutely. Yes. And for all of the people out there listening, again, SpurlockSisters.com. If you've got questions or you've got remarks or you remember this or whatever, let me know. We certainly love the feedback. And ladies, let me just say how great it was for you guys to take time out of your busy days. We were going to do this a few days ago, and the neighbor behind me decided they were going to remove a tree. And so it was chainsaws and wood chippers and stuff. And I said, that's not going to be any good for, I'm trying to, I don't want this thing to really sound West Virginia, where it's like, what do y'all have going on in there? Oh, just cutting down some trees. So again, thank you so much. Did y'all have a good time?
Oh, it was the best. Thank you, Debbie.
Yeah, this was a great trip down.
Well, good.
Back into memory.
Well,
the time machine. Woo woo. I was expecting a hot tub, but
hot tub time machine.
Yes.
That's a guilty pleasure too.
I love that movie.
We're in legal battles with them. Yeah. So
they made Cobra Kai, so you should be careful.
I'm just going to start calling the show the Huntington Tri-State Hot Tub, and and everybody I talk to is live, and we're in a hot tub. It's like Eddie Murphy, celebrity hot tub. That's perfect. So, all right. Well, again, ladies, thank you so much for being here, and thanks everybody for listening. Check out the other episodes. We've got more coming, and I think that's it. We are.
I thought of something.
Oh yeah.
Can I say something? One more, because I felt bad I didn't answer your Olympics question.
Oh.
I was like, I do have an answer.
Okay.
Which was, I don't know about the Olympics back then, but for some reason I was definitely cast as the Chinese dancer every single year in the Nutcracker, but I'm not sure why.
What?
Anyway.
Well, okay.
That was true.
That sounds like a call. It sounds like a cry for help.
Maybe. Yeah. What's it called when they you get I was typecast. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. See, every movie that I'm in, they just want to make me an attorney that says 2 lines.
But there's such good lines.
Yes, that's it. But
what was great about you was that I remember in the edit we didn't have to cut around you at all. Like everything was good. Sometimes you have to like craft a performance in the edit because.
I remember when you sent me when you sent. We're going back to the Down in Number 5 movie real quick, and I remember showing it to my mom, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, or whatever, and didn't tell her that I was in it, and I just said, hey, these girls that are from here made this movie, and it's only like 15 minutes long, but it's about coal mining and stuff. She was from Grantsville, West Virginia, and said, "Oh, okay, great." And so I was showing it to her, and I'm like one of the first people out of the gate in that movie. I'm like 2 or 3 minutes in, and we got to that point, and all of a sudden my scene is done, and she says nothing, and I'm like, "All right, let's rewind that." And then she said, "Why are we rewinding?" I said, "What do you think about that guy, the lawyer?" She goes, "He kind of looks like you." Yeah, Mom, that is me. Then she went crazy. "You're in a movie?" I was like, I don't just do adult films anymore. I'm trying to go legit. So yes.
That's really cute.
She loved it.
So cute.
She and in fact she loved the whole movie, and so it's great. Check it out. So again, thanks so much, ladies, and thanks for your time, everybody. We love you, and we are out of here.
Thanks for listening to the Huntington Tri-State Time Machine, brought to you by Realty Exchange, the top performing real estate company in the Huntington, West Virginia Tri-State Area. If you have a memory you would want WG to talk more about, just send him an email at memories@htstimemachine.com or post a comment on the Time Machine Facebook group page. Did you like this episode? Be sure to share it with friends and family. You can find a link in the show notes that you can use to share it. And be sure to let Realty Exchange know that you like the podcast as well. Their contact information can be found in this episode's show notes.